Hello everyone, I am Dead Knight and this is In It to Win It. We got the full set of United and Stormwind cards, so I'm making videos for every single class about my favorite best card, my least favorite card, and what I think is the most interesting card. So don't forget to like and subscribe, like all the videos, leave comments, tell me how you think I'm doing on these picks. But today we're going to get into Warlock. So United and Stormwind Warlock went heavy on the theme of handlock. So lots of cards that do something when you have a bunch of cards in your hand. The one thing it didn't do though is give you a lot of early game card draw. So that's going to impact this a lot, and it's also going to make it a little bit difficult to handicap on what the best, worst, and most interesting card is. Because if handlock flops, some of these cards are going to be unplayable. But that said, I try to do it, for overall situations, best and worst. So, what I think the best card all around is Touch of the Nathrezim. So this is a 1 mana spell. It's going to deal 2 damage to a minion, and if the minion dies, you get 4 health back. So I don't care what deck you're playing, especially a Warlock that's really good at damaging itself. 1 mana restore 4 health is not bad. We've seen cards like Dark Pact do really well when for destroying your minions and gaining 4 health. But in this case, you get to destroy your opponent's minion, dealing 2 damage for 1 mana to a minion. There's a lot of decks, pretty much every class has some way to do that. If you do that while restoring 4 health to your minion, this is really good. You could see yourself even running this in an aggressive zoo deck. Maybe not, but you could see it because of Flesh Giant, where restoring that 4 health is going to speed up your Flesh Giants and give you some tempo with your minions. So you could even see it in that situation. Remember, there's been some zoo lock decks that run Mortal Coil, which deals 1 damage and draws you a card if the minion dies. So obviously, drawing the card is better in a zoo situation, but the health, because of Flesh Giant especially, is always going to be good. For Control Warlock, it's an absolute essential tool at the early game. So this card is really good in a lot of decks. As far as the worst card, easy choice for me, it is Shady Bartender. So the only upside to this card is that it is tradable. But there are if you need a tradable card, there's other better choices. So as a 4/4 for 5 mana, you play this guy to give all your demons +2/+2. So, one argument is that Fungalmancer was really good and it only gave 2 minions +2/+2. So if you get 2 minions with this, then you've got a Fungalmancer, which was great. Fungalmancer was years ago. There's way better ways to pump your minions now. The other thing with Zoo is that, yeah, sure, there is a demon component, but there's just lots of great minions that aren't demons, and you get this stuck in your hand, and you can say, oh, well, hey, just trade it in. Yeah, you can do that, and so for that sense, there is good, but I see there's just better, more efficient, cheaper ways to buff your minions. There's better things you can do for tradable, like the new Spellbreaker guy that silences minions and is tradable. I think is better than this if you need a tradable card. It's just overall comparatively weak. There's just better ways to generate tempo and buffs with Zoolock, and you really can't use this at all in a non-Zoolock deck. So don't like the card, don't think it's great. As far as the most interesting card, I'm going to go with a little bit of a hot take here and go with Bloodbound Imp. So this guy is a 2/5 for 2 mana, and whenever it attacks, it deals 2 damage to your hero. So why is this interesting? So it's really interesting because the stat line, 7 stats for 2 mana is really strong. At 5 health and 2 attack, you've got some the potential to really take over the board early, and have a hard time for other fast decks to compete with you because you can be taking out their minions with this guy. You remember that there were some decks that were running Vulgar Homunculus, which is a 2/4 taunt for 2. So the taunt was useful because you could still attack their face and they couldn't really do good trades. But at 2/5, dealing you 2 damage, it's just really hard for them to remove this thing. You're always going to have something sticking to the board. Dealing 2 damage to you, obviously not great, but again, you've got flesh giants. You've got other ways to heal yourself. You've got the quest. If you're this would be absolutely essential if you're trying to do the quest, which, you know, debatable whether you want to try to do that. But because this isn't bound to just the quest, it isn't bound to just zoo. It's just a useful card overall that can take control of the game early, and you know, you're going to be healing yourself anyway with Warlock in a lot of cases. So I think it's just a really interesting design. I really like how they didn't skimp on the stats. They gave it that 5th health to really make it have some presence. Otherwise, you're getting Hecklefang Hyena, which is a 2/4 that deals you 3 damage one time. That has seen 0 play. Getting that 1 extra health, I think, will make a big difference. So really like the card design here. Could potentially see playing lots of decks. It's just really interesting. So what do you think? Am I on the money here? Am I way off? Leave some respectful comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and tune in next time.